leave it to me to do crazy shit. And once again, I'm going to do some crazy shit. So we just finished up with a roof, and I've been watching the news and all this immigrant stuff that's going down on the border. I've got feelings about that. And I've crossed the border many times, and I've seen things that don't line up with what I see on TV. So it's a 4.5 hour drive for me. I'm loading up my bike. I mean, just on a whim. I just decided this 20 minutes ago. I'm going to Mexico. And so I am. So bike's all loaded. I'm jumping on. I'm heading to Eagle Pass to see what all this ruckus is that I see on TV about these thousands and thousands of migrants coming across the border. So my plan is to head on down there, find out where they're camped out, because everywhere I have been, I've been able to find these encampments on the other side of the border where people are hanging out. And so my plan is to go down there, find the encampment, find someone that speaks English, and ask some serious questions. I just had an interesting conversation with one of the locals right back behind me over here in this parking lot. It's one of the local guys, and there was actually a radio station or something over there doing an interview. And I talked to one of the local guys, and he said right down from here, I can actually see the second bridge from here. It's about a half mile from where I'm standing right now. And that's where all the people are gathered underneath the bridge. Well, he says it's really just kind of a small group, and what they're saying on the news is highly overblown. And yeah, it's all political bullshit. So I'm going to work my way over there and see. And right here behind me, I guess you can see a little bit better what that barbed wire looks like. Anyway, yeah, it is the river right there. I don't know where these people cross, but so behind me, the sign states that it's government property, so I'm not going to go any further. But yeah, I guess this is where the Border Patrol just patrol up and down and try to keep people out. Well, that was a first. I just got harassed by the U.S. Customs on the way into Mexico. That is a first for me. I've never been hassled by anyone on the way into Mexico. And of course, leave it to the U.S. to be the ones to do it. Anyway, it's been dark for just a little bit. About to cross the Rio Grande into Mexico in Piedras Negras. Wish me luck. Alright, so I'm on the opposite side of the border now, looking at the fence. You can see right there, that's the makeshift fence that they've made out of shipping containers. And there's the bridge right there. That's actually not the bridge where they congregate, it's further down. So I'll make my way down there, but from what I understand, there is no one down there. And what's being shown on TV is greatly overblown, as far from what I've been told and so far from what I've seen. Okay, so it looks like right there, there's, I don't know, maybe a couple of dozen people gathered on the shore on the U.S. side, and it looks like the barbed wire fence is keeping them out. So they've crossed the river and they're on the banks, but they can't get past the wire. Okay, so yeah, there's probably 30 or 40 people there. It's pretty steep. There's like nowhere to sit or anything. They're just kind of wedged into some crevices and stuff right there. And then right above their heads is all the barbed wire to keep them out. And it looks like right over there, there are some military vehicles or whatever. There's probably some guards right there. But here's another angle from, or of the area where they were, you know, keeping all of the people, or there was thousands of them, or so they say. The locals contradict that. But anyway, there's not very many people over there. And they are just right there. usual, I heed no one's warning about driving around at night in Mexico. So I'm just kind of exploring around the streets that run alongside the river to see if I can find an encampment of migrants. Street to an end, and this is the street that runs parallel with the river here in Piedras Negras. So where you cross from Eagle Pass into Piedras Negras, I went east from there along the Rio Grande River, and I'm at the very end of the paved road, and behind me is a dirt road. And as I pulled up here to turn around, there was a pickup truck parked right to my left here, and there was about 20 people getting out of the truck, and they are all walking down this dirt road right now. Apparently there's a place down there to cross, and they were from El Salvador. The guy, he spoke English, so hopefully we'll be able. Here's a funny thing. I asked him if he had any Bitcoin. He just laughed at me because all the people in El Salvador have Bitcoin. But anyway, it was a group, 15, 20 people. They are heading down this dirt road to find a place to cross the river. Yeah, it's interesting. I will find a place to, find me a hotel somewhere around here, a cheap one, and I'll come back down here tomorrow during the daytime and see what's up. I don't know about going down that road. So anyway, I'm going to go see if I can figure out where the local encampment is, where people are camping on this side waiting to get across. Yeah, here on the square in Piedras Negras. Look at that flag just waving. It's a big flag. It's 10 o'clock at night now, and I need to start finding me a hotel. All right, so leaving the hotel now. I'm going to head back down to that dirt road I've seen, and down by the bridge. So I am not far from there. This is one of the main drags. Up ahead of me is that giant flag that's right on the border. I, discovered this area where they were dropping people off, and they would, I guess, go and sneak across the river. So it's a little further away from the center of town. Like, I don't know, do they only focus on near the bridge and they're not watching so closely the rest, or what? It's really weird, because they are crossing right where the bridge is, like it's intentional. They want to be caught. So they're what I seen last night is they were just hanging out on the on the banks of the river, just below the wire. So I'm going to head down there first before I head over to that other sneaky drop-off area. And, I will be able to see, I think, if those same people are still on the banks, then they're not just letting them right in. But if they're gone, I'm suspicious. Maybe there were more photo opportunities or whatever, so they wanted to let them in. Like what I seen on the news is they were actually cutting the wire open and letting people through. So things are definitely not what they seem. So over here it looks like we have several of these Border Patrol trucks, and there's a whole line of people. I can't really tell at this point if they are immigrants or whatever, but last night, that's the border, or not the border, excuse me. The banks right there, right along there, that's where all the people were hanging out last night. And they are all gone now, of course. So, who knows? But also, if you look over here, there's 4 buses over there, white, state-looking buses. Actually, they look kind of like prison buses. And I'm sure that's so they can bust them out of here. But they're letting them in. I mean, all those people didn't just get past all that wire. They go there for a reason, because they know they're going to be let in. They are parading the people. These are, so I just had a discussion with one of the Mexican National Guard that are over here, and he said that these are the people that were on the banks last night. So the 30 or so people that I seen hanging out on the banks, that's them. And they're taking them to their little intake center back over here, where the buses and they've got porta potties and all that set up. So that's the gist of it. They are intentionally letting them in, and now they're going to bust them off. All they have to do is say no. They don't have to let them in. These people were on the banks over there last night, being kept out by that wire. The wire was doing the job. They opened the wire, let them in, and now they are taking them over there to be, let in. I just seen some other people. I just seen a couple of Venezuelans walking by too. So I'm gonna make my way down to the other end. All right. So now I'm leaving the bridge area, and I'm gonna head down to the end of this road where it turns into dirt, and this is where I encountered the El Salvadorans last night, and he indicated that the reason why the people are actually coming here when they do is that the smugglers are telling them to come here, which I can't see that these people have enough money to pay smugglers. Anyway, the smugglers tell them, okay, be in Piedras Negras at this certain time, because that's when they're going to open the border and you can get in. So the smugglers are just lying to them, telling them, this is the time that it's safe to pass, so you need to go ahead and pay me now so I can get you there. So they're being taken advantage of by the smuggler. Down here at the end of this road, the water level of the river is considerably lower, so it's easier for them to cross. I'll be interested to get down there and look, at this area down here where it's easier to cross, if there's as much Border Patrol presence there. Because, something just doesn't sit right with me. I mean, those people were on the shore last night. Now, the Univision guy told me that, they just crawl under the fence, but I don't think so. If they were going to crawl under the fence, they would have crawled under last night when there was, not so much presence there. They were waiting. They were just sitting there waiting to be let in. So I would disagree with him on that. I don't think all those people got under all that wire. So this is the spot right here last night where I filmed from, and the truck was parked right over here that was letting all the people out. So this is the road. This is the dirt road here that all the El Salvadorans crossed at? The National Guard guy. So I'm glad I didn't go down here last night. He said he told me that there's assaults and stuff down here, but you know they exaggerate about a lot of stuff. You know, they tell you the same thing about traveling around Mexico. That's a lot of trash. Well, it looks like there's the orange floaty balls down there that are the barrier. But then you have all of this all the way back up that doesn't do anything. Well, this is obviously a crossing spot. All this garbage. That sucks. Anyway, this is the point where the Salvadorans went across last night. So this was uneventful in terms of am I going to run into somebody or not? And yeah, definitely not. Okay, a little bit no one here to see. Revelation here. So the Univision guys came down here as well, and while I was standing there, and so I started having a little bit of a talk with the Univision guys, and they said they were here yesterday. And it was about 500 to 800 maybe that crossed, and nowhere near 4,000 like was being reported on some of the other news outlets. So over the period of all day there was 500 or 800 maybe, but not 4,000. Major exaggeration. Okay, so this is gross as shit. Look, this is raw sewage. You can smell it bad. You can see it foaming up and everything, the soap or whatever. The river is right there. So all that raw sewage is just flooding right into the river. And this is where these people are crossing. Oh my God. That's disgusting. Yeah, that's pretty disgusting. I just passed that, that sewage drain. I mean, just tons of water is just flowing right out. Sewage water flowing right into the river. Crazy. Here's another group is arriving right now, and they're scoping it out, trying to find their place to cross the border. And then here's, of course, the news crews are here, you know, just catching everybody they can talk to. One of the guys, so one of the other Univision guys, he said maybe over several days there may have been a couple thousand, but definitely not 4,000 as they said on the news. They are coming in large groups. Another person that I talked to also said that they are arriving on the trains. So they're hopping the trains, and then as you see, like right behind me, that's where the train comes in. So the trains are actually coming here to Piedras Negras, and that's their mode of transport to get to this area. So if they're not on the train, then they're actually walking. Another person had told me that from where the checkpoints are coming into Coahuila, which is this state here, the state police are stopping them. They won't let them ride the buses or any of that. So that's one of the reasons why they're not riding the buses, because you know, they're taking an immigration stance on that and kicking them off the buses. But they're free to walk. They can't cross that checkpoint on a bus, but they can walk from there. So they're not like arresting them and stopping them or anything like that, but they are taking them off the buses. And I don't know what the reason is for that. And the Univision guy is literally walking them across. He's interviewing them as they go across. You know, I have no idea where they're from. it's the large majority of everybody seems to be from Venezuela, although I did encounter El Salvadorans last night. I don't know, they were crossing and now they're coming back. So, and this is Univision right here. So maybe it's a photo op. I'm not really sure. But I'm sure that these people do intend to go across the border. The group of Venezuelans that I'd seen earlier trying to cross, the water was too deep, they said over there, so they are attempting it again. And this is the same spot where the people were basically camped out on the bank yesterday. So this is a group of, I don't know, 8 to 10 Venezuelans. And you can see, if you zoom in here, there are a couple of National Guard or Border Patrol waiting for them right there. So I'm going to wait and see if they decide to open the gates for them.
You'll notice in this drone footage that as the people who try to cross the river enter at the wrong point, not only the guards or the Border Patrol, but the media as well, help to redirect the people to an opening in the fence further down near the bridge, where there is essentially a Walmart greeter, as I say, down there. The Border Patrol greet them at the gate, instruct them on what to do, and then walk them to the staging area. I was also lucky enough to meet a woman from Channel 12, or Kira Ayek, who told me a lot of stuff about the train as well. So she dispelled the myth that it is the cartel that is bringing everybody in or smuggling everyone to the border, when in reality, the people are catching the trains, hundreds of people. She showed me pictures of hundreds of people getting on the train.
Okay, so this is the group that was crossing there earlier. They went a little further down from that point right there. And it looks like they're past one of the layers of, barbed wire right now. And they're about to get past the other one, and I don't see, why isn't there, someone over there to stop them? Okay, so they found their hole in the fence. They just walked through. Actually, there's a guy there. So there's a military guy right there on the right, I think. No. Anyway, they're just going right through the wire right there. Sorry. Yeah, they're just going right through the wire right there. And then they walk right over there to a tent. Yeah, right there, excuse me. I'm using telephoto lens, so it's hard to get a good shot on this. So they just walk right over there and check in at the desk. Yeah, so there's a military guy or Border Patrol, whatever, right there in front of them. And then so they're lining up or whatever, they're just going to follow him. Here, follow me, guys. Welcome to the U.S. So they make it a little bit difficult for them to get through the wire, but like all they had to do is somebody stand there and say, no, you can't come in. They're not making any effort. Alright, so I'm leaving the media circus. I'm going to go ahead and go back home. There may or may not be another big group coming, but it's pretty uneventful. So here you have your media folks. I'm going to go out this other way and get a few shots of their staging area for where they're doing the intake. So, like I said, right behind me is where they were crossing at, but then right over here there's an area. Okay, right there, where the wire's kind of low right there. It's pretty much an easier way to get in. So you can see right there where they're coming in. The people were being directed from that area down there, about 100 yards back, to come in right there. So people are actually telling them, okay, the wire's easier to get in over there. And then right here, you've got some Border Patrol agents that are essentially Walmart greeters who go over there and greet them and tell them to come in. Which area? I think I'm able to go this way. Well, there's a group of some people that they're bringing in. Do I go this way? Can I go that way? Anyway, that's right, their infrastructure, all of the porta potties and stuff. They don't want me going that way. Anyway, that was their intake area, and I guess if you've seen on the video, they had about 15 people there that they were booking in. Let me see if I can go find their their other area. Tried to play stupid. They weren't going for it.
Wow. So, my conclusion about my time down at the border, seeing everything I've seen, is that yeah, there was quite a few people. I mean, there's thousands. There's thousands of people are coming in. Were there thousands of people in one day? No, not really. Um, One of the Univision guys estimated, 5 to 800. One of the other Univision guys said over the weekend maybe there was a couple of thousand, not 4,000 or 10,000 like they're claiming on the news. And maybe that 10,000 is from end to end, all of the border, all combined. But it wasn't at Eagle Pass that there was 10,000 people. The people are coming in on the trains by the hundreds when the trains do come in, or when they're able to catch the train. But they're crossing in smaller groups, sometimes a little bit larger groups. And this is all, it's all political. I mean, if you look at it, Greg Abbott has claimed that it's an invasion, and he's sending the National Guard down to the border to help stop the invasion. Well, I witnessed people walk up, and the National Guard pointed them down the other way, down the river, to go and greet the Border Patrol, where the Border Patrol opened the gate for them. The barbed wire is cut, and they just opened it up, and the people walked right through the little crack. And this is continuing. They're still doing this. So if it's an invasion and national emergency or whatever, and the National Guard could have stopped them. The National Guard could get between the Border Patrol and that crack in the fence and stop this, but they're not, because they benefit from it. Yeah, Abbott benefits from the chaos created by Biden's policies. So I'm sure he's tickled pink to see more and more people come across that border so that he can, claim that he's fighting this chaos and it's all Biden's fault, which it is. But these people are, the Venezuelans, Colombians, everybody that's coming across this border, they're just political pawns in this stupid game that they're playing for, election points. It's really sad. Yeah, maybe they should return to the Trump era stuff. But yeah, what you're seeing on the news, there's a whole other story to it. Yes, there's tons of people. There's not the amount of people they say. One final note that I really want to add to this. A couple years ago, I crossed the border in Nogales, and
we ended up, Jonna and I had crossed the border, and we ended up in the wrong line, and we were on the truckers loading docks. When you go through those loading docks, it's mandatory that your vehicle be searched. While our vehicle was being searched, and it was a motorhome, so there was a lot of searching to do, I struck up a conversation with one of the customs agents that was working there on the docks. And I asked him, where are all of the people? I thought there was a mass migration and things with chaos and all this. And he goes, oh, yeah, we sent them all down to Texas. Now, I don't know what he meant by that, but I'm pretty sure that they're just collecting people all along the border and taking them to Texas for, a bigger political effect. Now, think about this also. When Trump was in office, the immigrants were all in Tijuana because Republican. Let's take all the immigrants to the liberal border of California. Now that Biden's in office, they ship them all to Texas, where the Republicans are running the border. So you see, it's political division. It's all a sales tactic, and it's just bullshit.